Welcome to another automation clinic. All right. Well, this is not a clinic, it is a live presentation. So, the whiteboard edition. So, today we are going. Uh oh. Okay. We are live talking about how to automate your business. So I've been going live to do these series on automating the different businesses and the different business industries. So if you want your business industry for me to do a presentation based on your business industry, just drop it in the chat wherever you are. If you are watching the replay, drop it in the chat. Let us know what industry you want us to show you automation strategies for. And as I mentioned, and for those of you who do not know me, my name is Jennifer J. We manage, set up and manage business automation systems. So we set up and manage the systems for you for busy entrepreneurs who don't have time to do it. We also run automation clinics. So for those of you who want us to run automation clinics for your organization, we run automation clinics for your organization so you could focus on other things and not worry about automation systems, all of those things. All right, so let's get into it. Today we're talking about how to automate your consulting business. So in consulting, there are so many different moving parts to automating your business. And those moving parts most likely need to have handoffs happen. Certain people need to be notified as things go on. With every business, with every start of automation and implementing business systems in your business, it always starts with my SPA method, which is strategy plus process equals automation. So, strategy plus process equals automation. So, when we're talking about a consulting business, the first thing we need to think about is when someone wants to work with us, what does that look like? What does that inquiry system look like when someone inquires? So, do you want them to go back and forth and email you and wait for you to respond? Do you want them to call you on the phone and hope that you pick up? What does that process look like for you? And once you create the strategy of, okay, I want people to contact us this way. Now you create the process. What does that process look like? And when I talk about it, I'm going to show you on the whiteboard what that process will look like. So, for me, in my eyes, that process looks like we're interested in working with you. Okay, there's some information that we need. Most likely, you don't want to have that conversation over the phone because it turns into a long conversation, and sometimes you may never get a clear understanding because you may be on the phone with a rambler. So to stop the ramble, we have them fill out an inquiry form, an intake form with the information. That's the process. Fill out this inquiry form. Let me know who you are, what's your organization, what you believe your pain points to be, and how you think that we can help. So, any of those questions that you are asking every single organization, you just simply now make this an inquiry form that now you can look at everything at one time to say, okay, this is the problem that they're having, and I'm sure that it's the same in your industry. So when we think about my industry, when you want to work with me, you have to fill out a form. And that form says who you are, what's your industry, what's your business name, what are your social sites, what's your website, what is your system problem? What are your main pain points? What's keeping you up at night? What processes are you doing over and over again that you are tired of? What systems do you currently use in your business? Usually, I can tell by that form what you need. And by the time we get on a call, I already know the solution. The call is just a formality to make sure that we are good to work together. And that's what we want to do for every industry, especially consulting. So, what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to map it out on the whiteboard, is your service inquiry, your booking system, and your proposal pipeline. Because usually with the proposals, you need to follow up. There has to be a follow up process for proposals. And yes, you can automate that. So I am going to hop over to the whiteboard and show you that now. And if you're viewing me on Instagram, you can hop over to um you can hop over to LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook to be able to see me. Okay. Otherwise, my chair may be in your way on over here in Instagram world. Okay. So we're talking about automating your where is my oh here it is. We're talking about automating your consulting business. So in order to efficiently automate it to be streamlined, we want to look at the different processes, right? And so we talked about the service inquiry. So the service inquiry starts with a form, okay? All right. So this is where your strategy comes into play and how you want this process and how you want your customer journey to go. So, with the form, once they complete the form, you have to figure out what action do you want. Most likely, you may want to review this form to make sure that they're fit. So, you can have this form notify someone internally before they're able to book a call, right? Or you can have them complete the form and then automatically book a call, right? So if they book a call, now what you need to do at the time of the call or whoever it's assigned to, because it can also get assigned, right? It could get assigned to a consultant based on um based on availability, however you want to do it. You could do it availability, you could do it the number of calls in a day. It doesn't matter. And if you have a team that handles that, it could be assigned that way in your booking system, right? And so now that process is I'm going to hop on this call and I'm going to review this form beforehand. That's my process. So 30 minutes before, I'm going to review the form, if unless you need longer, an hour before, to prepare for the meeting, right? So that we can enroll them into our consulting practices. Okay, so next, we want to talk about the booking system. The booking system, you want to make sure you are reminding yourself and the person that filled out this form. So, with your booking system, you want to make sure that it has two things: reminders for the call and follow up after the call. So, once they book the call, it's going to notify you, right? It's going to notify the business. And then, of course, it's going to send the reminders and the confirmation. That's sloppy. It's going to send the reminders and the confirmation to the person that booked the call. Okay. And then I should have did it the other way. Let's do it this way. Reminders and then confirmation. All right. And then the reminders can be text and email. Okay? And then you want these reminders to go all the way up into the call time, not just one confirmation and one reminder. These reminders need to continue up until the exact call time. So if it's 5 reminders, it doesn't matter. They need to be reminded because people are busy and they may forget. What if they didn't put it on their calendar? What if it didn't go automatically to their calendar and they forgot? So you want to remind them up until the exact time. And then you want to remind not only them, but you, right? And so this right here is huge because this helps people. And within these reminders, you want at some point for them to respond, to say either, yes, I'm still coming, or I need to reschedule. Again, that goes back to the spot, right? It goes back to what your strategy and your process is for your organization. So, with this, now this takes away from the manual emailing back and forth. Even if someone emails you, the process is always going to be, hello, I'm interested in consulting for my organization. They may lay out the entire organization and format. What you're going to say is, we are very excited to get started working with you. Here is our process, and you give them the link to this form. And so now that fires off all of the automation, the internal notifications that's happening, and it clears you of going back and forth, following up with prospects. This right here saves 20% of your time. If you have questions, definitely ask me. Hey, beautiful. Um, so this right here saves 20% of your time in most business industries, not just consulting, any service based industry. It's going to save your time. Okay. And the process is different based on the customer. Sorry, I have my fan on. Based on the customer, the process is going to be different. Okay. And so this notification system here for internal may be different for you than it is for another organization. That's why we meet with businesses and we customize this process for everybody, because it may not be cookie cutter. It may be some internal notifications or some other actions that need to happen here. Or what if one of the questions on this form disqualifies them from your service? Then we need to configure another automation for this step right here. So now we have another branch of automation that happens. But the purpose of this is not to remove the human touch. The purpose is to streamline operations and focus our efforts and our team's efforts on things that are more strategically aligned, because this is kind of busy work, right? This could be automated without the human touch. Just remember, this can happen whether somebody emails you, whether somebody calls you, or whether you are in person. I was going to write network, but whether you are in person, because there are tools that you can use that can still fire off this process. You can tap your phone and fire this off. You can use QR codes and fire this off. You can text the person to fire this off. You can have them text to fire this off. You can be speaking from a stage and have this fire off. Okay, so their technology is advancing so much in today's world that there's no reason and no excuse for you not to have this, because especially if you're networking, think about that culture and that environment. What if it's a speed networking event? Then you need to be able to build the relationship, make the connection, and move on to the next person. Well, that's done this way. That's done with, okay, I have my phone. Let me tap my phone. Is my Popple over here? They have a software called Popple. It's not over there. Where it's a bracelet, just like my watch. And you tap that bracelet to their phone. And then it fires this off, right? So it's all about, again, the strategy. Okay. And to reset, if you are just joining me, my name is Jennifer J, and we set up and manage business marketing systems for business owners so that they can focus on growing and scaling their business. Today, we are talking about how to automate a consulting business. We just went over the service inquiry. This is the service inquiry automation and the booking system automation. Now we are going to move into the proposal pipeline, because this is the most important part of that business, is the proposal part, right? So you have an amazing sales call. Usually you have to send someone a proposal and you have to follow up. So the first thing we want to talk about with that is the proposal pipeline, right? So a pipeline is just the categories or the journey that your potential customer will go through. So with the pipeline, you'll have, and I'm gonna erase spa. Um, with the proposal, you'll have the pipeline, right? So that may look like this. Okay, proposal sent can start off this pipeline. All right. And then you may have follow up here. And then you may have your won and lost. Right. Okay. So once the proposal is sent, this is now an automation and a process and a strategy. So with the proposal sent, you need to figure out how many days am I going to follow up with this process, right? How many days after I send the proposal do I want to follow up? Because we can automate this. It does not have to be a person reaching out. This can be automated. So we say proposal sent. Now we move to follow up, right? So if we say one day, we're going to follow up. But how does from here to here know that that proposal wasn't accepted? Because we're going to have automation on the proposal acceptance action. So automation is based on behaviors. It's based on behaviors and it's based on triggers. And those triggers are fired off. So if you think about a trigger is action that someone takes. And so the action that someone takes will be to accept this proposal. So action, accept it. Then it's going to move over to here and out of follow up. This is the pipeline, right? And so if the proposal is not accepted, the system is going to look for it and it's going to say follow up, right? So from here, we're going to follow up 1 day. And then it's going to complete this iteration each day that you set it. So if you say for proposals, we want to follow up for 2 weeks, we're going to tell this to follow up for 2 weeks. So on that 14th day, we're going to say we had no action. Hopefully you don't wait this long, but on the 14th day, we're going to say send an internal notification to who's ever assigned to this, right? To check on that person to see why they have not responded or accepted the proposal, right? This right here is huge because this recovers so many funds that have been lost for failure to follow up. Setting up your proposal pipeline to be automated is one of the biggest things that you can do because I know for a fact that that process gets lost. So if you had 20 meetings in a week and now you sent all 20 proposals because you're good, you have a close rate of 100%, you are not going to remember to follow up with those 20 people. Or you have this on a spreadsheet and you're trying to remember what to follow up with from the spreadsheet. Hopefully, this makes sense. Let me check if I have any questions. Okay, so again, if you are just joining, we are automating the consulting business. And with automating the consulting business, we went over automating your inquiry system, your booking system, and your proposal pipeline. And so those are the most important parts of getting started. After you get started and they've accepted the proposal, now you go through a whole nother series of automations because if you need to do site visits, now you need to set up site visits. So, can the site visits be set up by the organization on a calendar? Well, if you want to urgently get out there to get started, you can do that, but you can also set it up on a calendar that fires off automation. So, what happens after the site visit? After the site visit is booked, what is the next step? Who needs to know? Who are the key players in going to the site visit to now interview the different departments? Because as we know, what the leader thinks the problem is never the problem. So you have to interview everyone at the corporation who's involved, right? To understand what the underlying issues are and what recommendations you can make, right? And so that, my friends, is automating your consulting business. Now, that's just the beginning. There's no way I can go through automating the whole entire business. But this is just the start that takes up so many um, repetitive tasks and time. Majority of the time is spent on automating on these manual parts and the administrative tasks that need to be done with it. So again, my name is Jennifer J. We set up and manage business systems for busy business owners so that they can grow and scale their business without worrying about the tech or writing emails or doing all of that. We also have automation clinics for businesses so that you don't have to worry about that. If you would like us to come into your organization and do an automation clinic, definitely message me on the platform you're watching and we will get started. Why am I asking about messaging? Because I want to speak to you first. Then I'll throw you into this process. So I want to have a conversation first. All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with me. Again, if you want me to show how to automate your industry, definitely leave a comment on the platform that you're watching. If you're catching the replay, shout out to the replay squad and definitely drop your comments. Have an amazing day.